Bob. This is BMAC here with my guest, Bob Beach, Municipal Golf Pro. How's it going, Bob?
Great, Brian. How are you?
Good. So talk about where you were born. Give a little background as to your early childhood life and your interest in sports. A lot of my viewers want to know a little bit about that.
Sure. I was born in Watertown, Mass, and I pretty much played every sport I could. And, I played even in the winter. There was a tennis course that they froze over, so I played hockey and basketball.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, right up through junior high. And then I got interested in golf through caddying at Oakley Country Club when I was 12, 13 years old.
Wow. So tell me about, out of all the sports, what made you get interested in golf the most out of all of them?
I like golf because of the caddying. I caddied for 10 years from, like I said, from when I was 13 to 22, right through college. And it's just a sport you can play. And it's an individual sport, and you can play your whole life. So it was golf and basketball were probably my two favorite sports.
So do you get a chance to watch sports at all when you're not working golf? Do you get a chance to watch a lot of the pro sports at all on TV?
Yeah, I watch pretty much all of them.
You do?
Even got into, since COVID, got into some different sports like, women's lacrosse. I went to some BC women's lacrosse games, and, it's an excellent game. It's so fast, and, so I enjoy doing that.
Let's talk about how many you met. Do you remember how many you first met each other? I can tell you if you don't remember. Do you remember how many you first met each other?
I do remember how we met. I remember I look forward to those every year when the Perkins School for the Blind and the Carroll Center for the Blind come to the links at Mass Golf for a day of golf, and you were with the Perkins School.
Yeah.
And I remember Tracy Polamano.
Yep.
You came in with her, and she's still working there. She's still doing the same clinics. And I remember you were one of the most enthusiastic students. And I'll tell you one of the comments you have, if you can remember. This is kind of funny. It'll bring back memories. You said I was like Larry King with a Boston accent.
Yeah. Yes, this is true. Yes, I remember saying that to you. Do you remember what year that was, though? Because was that like 2012? I think because it was that long ago. I think it was 2012. I think it was.
I think so. Yeah, it was. It was like right around then. Actually, this is the 20th year that the Mass Golf has been doing the clinics at for the blind with both the Perkins School and the Carroll Center. So it's a nice day, and this will be the first tee started in 2003, and they've been doing the clinics since then. And you remember Bill McMahon?
Yep.
He was a big. That's one of the things I liked about the clinics was while you guys were having lunch at the end of the clinics, he would be answering your questions about blind golf. And unfortunately, Bill passed away.
Yeah.
April 13, 2017, but he was an incredible person, and he was a great role model for him, and I got to coach him a little bit too part-time, and just did a lot of things with him.
Yeah. Now, are your kids into sports at all? Do any of your kids, watch?
Yeah. Both my son and daughter play sports. They both play golf, and they both play basketball. Mm-hmm. My son, John, actually was at one of the clinics. He met you. He was at the clinic when you were there. And it was kind of funny, and he remembers that line about Larry King, which is funny. And the thing I remember about you too is I was proud of you that you went on to become like a broadcaster, I believe, for high school football games up in the North Shore, right?
Yeah, Lowell. Yep, the Lowell area.
Lowell, yeah, that's cool. And did you do? Were you like play-by-play, or did you do that? I think you did play-by-play, right?
Well, in the PA system, I did more of the PA announcing stuff.
PA, yeah. Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah,
that was really cool, though.
Mm-hmm.
So you got your voice out there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, tell me a little bit more about now, do you find golf to be expensive sometimes at all? I heard golf can be expensive sometimes. If so is that true sometimes about golf? It can be expensive on occasion.
Yeah, it can be. I think it's gotten a little bit more affordable because you don't always need the top equipment to be a good golfer. You can have, you can spend a ton on golf, but you can also find equipment that's not too expensive, like used. You can get good used clubs on eBay or from different pro shops. Mm-hmm. And you can play a lot of courses. There's many more municipal I'm a PGA Pro member, which I'm very proud of, but I've always worked at public courses. And I was the head pro at Braintree Municipal for 28 years in Braintree. And we were always affordable, and we had certain times it was very inexpensive, like late in the day. So it doesn't have to be.
No.
It can be expensive. My whole goal in golf is to make it more inclusive and get more people playing. And it's kind of funny what helped golf. One of the things that really started growing golf again was COVID. That's COVID because people couldn't do anything. They could get out in the golf course in their own group and play, and they spread them out more because of COVID. They were in like 10-minute increments. And so more people played golf. And then after they played it, it's a great game. They really enjoyed it. So they kept playing. They keep playing, and it's really good.
So
Good stuff.
do you find golf to be calming too? Like, why do people think that golf they'll do it to calm down a lot when you play golf too?
Oh yeah, definitely. If you have the right attitude, it can be. I tell people just focus on the good shots you hit and try to see if you can get improvement. Don't beat yourself up. Enjoy the surroundings because it's always on a beautiful property and you're out there in the fresh air. It's a great sport.
Mm-hmm. Now tell me about who would you hear a broadcaster growing up as a sports fan? Who would you hear a broadcaster to listen to and to watch?
My favorite probably was because I was a Celtics fan. I grew up. My aunt took me to some of Bill Russell's the Celtics in the early '60s. I was born in '53, so I went to some games in the early. My aunt Millie took me to some games, and Johnny Most was he was legendary. He had that great voice. And Bob Wilson too was a Bruins announcer, and I actually caddied for Bob Wilson. He had a booming voice. He was the Bruins announcer, and he was a member at Oakley Country Club, so I got to caddy for him. I could tell you what. This is how caddies are. I can remember the bag he had. It was a black and white Hague Ultra bag, and he had Hague Ultra clubs. It was a Burton bag, and he had Hague Ultra clubs.
Oh wow! Now tell me, do you know the broadcaster? Do you know who Marty Glickman is?
Marty Glickman, I like Marty Glickman. Yeah, he was around that time. Yeah, he was New York. Was he at Madison Square Garden? Was he like
yes.
the public address?
No. He was play-by-play player for a long time. He did play-by-play.
Play-by-play for the Knicks?
Yeah.
Okay. I definitely remember him because the Knicks Celtics had great rivalries.
They did.
Back then. And the Knicks, I think, they won a championship, I remember, in the 70s with I remember watching a game on Easter Sunday when Johnny Havlicek was playing with one arm and the Knicks won that game. Series. So tell me a little bit about some of your honors that they've gotten many years. I've read some of the stuff on Facebook, but I'm curious about some of your honors and awards that you've received in your career. Probably the biggest one was there was two big. I'd say I was elected into the PGA Hall of Fame, and that's something I never thought would happen, but it's all because of my work with blind golfers and people with special needs and disabled veterans. And so that was an honor. And I won in 2013, the national award for the PGA for the Patriot Award. And I went out to San Diego and got the award, and they did a nice little 5-minute video on it. And I just had a special place for veterans, helping, especially disabled veterans I've been able to help. And so that, and the last one would be like the Conrad Railing Award. That was a national award for Special Olympics, and I've done a lot of work with Special Olympics. And that award was different. It was actually done right at the New England PGA, so it was my peers were all there. So it was totally different than going way out to California. And a young man named Kevin Ridd, who has Down syndrome, introduced me and gave a speech. And so that was one of the. That's online too. That was pretty cool because. Imagine somebody with Down syndrome addressing like 300 or 400 golf pros and giving a little speech telling them about it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, funny question. So how can people follow you online? Is there a way that people can follow you? What you're doing next upcoming events? Like, how can people that want to know more about you? How can they get more information on you?
I started. I was never a big, on doing social media, but I started because I'm trying to show people what I do, and I really enjoy it. My thing, I like helping people, so golf allows me to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm on Facebook, and I'm under Bob Beach PGA.
Okay.
On Facebook, and I also do Instagram and Twitter.
Wow.
And So I've tried to do more. And the one thing I started doing the last couple of years is the videos, short reels. And I really like because they kind of show what I'm doing and people seem to enjoy them, as well as photos. And then I just try to tell them what I'm doing and hope other people get into it.
Now, did you ever meet Tiger Woods in your time? I know you've golfed. Did you ever meet Tiger?
No, I wish I did. I did when they had the Deutsche Bank, and then they had a playoff tournament at TPC Boston for many years. Right on Labor Day weekend, Tiger played, and they would have a pro go around from the New England PGA go around with each player. I never was able to get with Tiger, but I did caddy for let's see who I did, Ernie Els and Matt Kuchar.
Oh.
And yeah, so that was fun, but it's funny you asked that. Those are the two. I would say that's the two most asked questions that I hear as a PGA pro. Did you ever meet Tiger Woods? And the second one is, do you play golf every day?
Mm. So what do you do for fun when you're not golfing, or is golfing really a passion these days now? I mean, what do you do for fun when you're not golfing?
I try to go. Like I said, I try to do different things. Like I'm going to. I have season tickets for Northeastern Hockey, and I'm taking it's only like 20 minutes from here, so it's good. And I see good hockey, so I'm taking a person with special needs, Eric Guglielmi.
Oh.
Him and I are going to the game tomorrow night against UConn. So I like doing things like that, keeping in touch with the athletes. And I coach basketball for Conwell Cushing, which is special needs basketball, and that keeps me busy in the winter. So that's been fun too. I've been doing that for like 15 years or so.
Now,
so it's not just golf; it's also coaching basketball. And, a lot of it's volunteer, but I really enjoy doing it.
When you coach those sports, do you yell like most coaches, or no?
Not too much. I try to more encourage and be low key and make sure everyone plays. Things like that, and they seem to get more out of it. Although, it is competitive. I mean, some years we've won some gold medals, the teams I've coached, and then some years we don't make the playoffs. So it varies. And some of those years where we didn't make the playoffs, I've enjoyed those just as much. So sometimes we're on a strong team, and I try to tell the players, like, we don't want to run the score up on them. And then sometimes we're at the other end of it, we get pummeled, and it kind of works both ways. But it's fun. They're very competitive, and they have Special Olympic athletes. They don't give up, and they really know how to adapt.
Do you know who the name John Wooden is?
Oh yeah, he was a great coach at UCLA. He's got some. His book has some great principles in it that will help you in any sport.
Now, funny question: Did you ever write your own book at some point, your own memoir? Because I would read that book on audiobook. I would listen to that. Would you ever write your own memoir at some point?
I don't know. You don't know, because it's true. Like sometimes I joke, like I say, I don't put everything on Facebook. Like some of it's too personal.
Yeah.
I help people with Parkinson's and dementia, and try to keep people like that playing golf. I've done it for several years. I've taken several people out, but sometimes like 3 years, and we take them out once a week. And then unfortunately it gets where they can't do it anymore. But those have been special relationships that I don't really put on social media. So, and I tell people, you have to read my memoirs to get that. But I don't know. You never know.
Now,
I just don't know if it would be interesting enough. But I think what I try to do is promote volunteering and just helping people through golf. So.
It's funny. So I haven't seen you in a long time, but I'll have to come see you if I have a chance to. So I go to a program on movement now called Shore Movement now, where I go now because I'm done with school. So if I can come down, I'll have to come down and see if there's opportunity to come down.
You have to find out. You could find out through Tracy when they come this year, and if you'd be a great speaker to talk to people and tell them about. Like you could be like the Bill McMahon. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well,
she still remembers you because I asked you. Well, another thing you did one time was so funny. My son was there.
Yes.
And you were walking here, and you were talking to Tracy. Go, is Bob Beach going to be here? Is Bob Beach going to be here?
Yep.
And Tracy goes, I don't know if he's going to be here. He's here every year, and I was there, so it was kind of funny. And it was like you didn't even know it, and there were other pros there then, and you were like promoting me, which I didn't do on purpose, but other pros were hearing that, and it was pretty cool.
So, of course, so how did I promote you, though? What do you mean I promoted you? Explain that to people.
Like, I promoted because you were saying, like, just the fact that you really wanted me to be there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a big thing, but you know, I don't get that all the time, so it was kind of special to me, and I remember that. And my son was there; he heard it, so
You heard it. Thanks.
there's not that many people that are looking forward to seeing you like you were.
Yeah.
And Bill McMahon used to call me like 100% volunteer. I never missed any of those clinics.
No.
And finally, I did. Right around just before COVID, I had a knee surgery at meniscus, and I missed one of them.
You did.
That was about So
Wow. Well, that sounds great, Bob.
Perfection's overrated.
Exactly. Now, before I let you go, I had a question about this too. Is that you mentioned a guy that you used to imitate him a lot, Bob Shepard. You know who he was? The Yankees announcer.
Yeah, I love going to the old Yankee Stadium. Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen.
The centerfield.
Unruly behavior will not be tolerated at Yankee Stadium.
So
Anyone failing to comply will be arrested and prosecuted to the full extent of the law. If you're from Boston, you will be sent immediately to Rikers Island to await trial in the New York judicial system.
oh,
Like that, right? Put my own spin on it a little bit for you.
that was awesome. I appreciate that. So tell me a little bit more about. So tell me about in driving, when you do driving range in golf, when you say the word clear a lot. I like when you say the word clear. Tell me, why do you use that word when you do driving range?
That's a key word because it means it's safe to swing. Because obviously, a blind person or a visually impaired person can't, especially a totally blind person, they can't see. They can't see, so they have to depend. You want to clear. You don't want to get hurt, or you don't want them swinging and hurting anyone else. So clear means there's no one in their way, either that where they could get hit. So it means, and I've actually used it. That's a good point you make. That's the key word. Bill McMahon always said that, and I use it in other sports sometimes too. Because like when I'm helping a person with special needs, I'm careful that they don't swing until it's safe, and I'll say clear. So it's kind of worked into other sports too.
Do you remember a golf person at Mass Golf name? I think her name was Dot.
Dottie.
Dottie. I think it was. No. It was Dorothy.
Yeah, I think they do. Yeah. They've had different people work there, but they've all been good. And the pro there now, Drew Chapman.
Yep.
He's gotten into it. He's a hit pro at the Links at Mass Golf, and he's been helping us. He's been doing a great job. And another woman, Lynn Lazaro, whose father, Joe Lazaro, famous blind golfer.
Yep.
She does a great job on organizing and helping with the clinics. And here's a cool thing that happened in just during COVID. They built two artificial putting greens in Waltham, right next to Bentley University, and it's called the Joe Lazaro Putting Center.
Oh, wow.
And it's open, it's free for everybody, and it's used all the time. And that's a real honor to Joe Lazaro, who was a champion, and he was wounded during World War. He was blinded during World War II, and he's just an incredible person. What attracts me to Waltham is the fact that all of their programs, recreation programs, are inclusive. So after I retired in 2018, I've been just doing totally adaptive golf these last 4 or 5 years, and then 5 years. And then it's kind of funny. When I retired, other pros that do adaptive golf around the country, they called me and said, "You can't retire. Who's going to do it?" So they were kind of right. So I'm actually busier than I ever been. I'm doing it like 6-7 days a week in season.
Now, did you ever golf with any people in wheelchairs before? Did you ever do any wheelchair golf at all? Have you ever done that before?
A ton, yeah. We do. I do that through Golf for All. That's a nonprofit that we help anybody, blind golfers, disabled vets, people in wheelchairs, Parkinson's, and that's an organization that's executive director is Fred Corcoran, and one of the people that Jerry Donovan is. He's a T6. He's paralyzed from the chest down, and he's like a big teacher. And he'll go, like last year we did clinics for veterans with spinal cord injuries from the VA in Brockton and Jamaica Plain.
Yeah.
Brockton and West Roxbury. And he was a huge person in helping those veterans. And him and I work together. So he a lot of times knows more about the physical aspect. Yeah. And then I know about the teaching, and we were like a good team.
So would I be able to bring I have some friends in wheelchairs I work with now at my place. Could I be able to bring some of them down if possible? I think that'd be a lot of fun. I'd come down and come see you if it's possible. Is there a way to do that? Would be a way to do that to get that done?
Yeah, anytime. We had a lot of where I do instruction now is is at Leo J. Martin and Ponkapock, and
Okay.
they're both DCR courses. And the DCR and the pro, Jim Burke has been great in letting us do have clinics and playing opportunities at those courses, and they're welcoming, and they each have 2 adaptive golf carts. They have 2 adaptive golf carts at Ponkapock called Para Golfers, and they have 2 at Leo J. Martin Golf Course in Weston.
Okay. So I don't know if this will work, but I am in Woburn, so I don't know if I can maybe if there would be a way to maybe arrange something. I'd like to get my friends to come out if we can get them down there. I got some
Yeah,
friends.
we could do that through Golf for All and through those different facilities.
All right.
We could definitely help.
All right, that'd be great, Bob. This come on the podcast today, Bob. Been a great guest today, Bob. Like always, man. We'll keep in touch, Bob. I promise you. We'll definitely keep in touch. All right.
I appreciate it, Brian. I'm glad you're doing great things. Take care, my friend.
Take care, my friend. We'll talk soon on email. Thank you, buddy.
All right. Thank you.
You too,
Bye.
man. Bye bye.